for this album earlier this week, I made like an Instagram post where I had all of the different vocalists and collaborators, and then my audio engineer Seth Drake, um, like in the slideshow, and I like said what each person contributed to this part of the album and like highlighted them. And I'm trying to do that because like there's just this like unspoken thing in the scene where people feel like they have to like put other people beneath them or like seem like they're the only person that's like doing this project. Like people act
Yeah.
like it's just a one person thing.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to do my best to change that. And I think that your guys' approach to just like leading with open arms is it changes things, you know, and like you're right. People benefit by lifting each other up. So
Yeah.
it's really sometimes it might take a little bit of extra effort, but it does come back.
FBI.
Look who it is.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. You look like you're in outer space right
I was trying to look like, kind of running an investigation in like an FBI lab, kind
now.
of.
Yeah, okay.
But
That.
yeah.
Hmm.
So today, as of this recording, you just released the Body EP, the first part of your album,
I
basically.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God,
It's
that's exciting. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been working on it just for so long that it's like it's weird. Like, I started writing it over a year ago, I guess like last March.
A year
Um,
ago. And it's what?
yeah,
Like how many tracks?
yeah. It's the total album I think is 18 songs. So I started writing like all of those tracks at that time, and I already had some that like were unfinished or ideas that I like pulled different parts from.
Hmm.
But to like have something and then like I've been playing some of them live and like
Yeah.
it's been so long and now they're just finally coming out. It's like almost like catharsis where like they're like my little babies and I'm like letting them free. Um
Yeah.
so it's a really great feeling and it's cool to see like all of the excitement too. Um
Hmm.
it's been like a long process to just like make sure that everything's right. I'm a perfectionist. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of letting go in that too.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way when it comes to like that sort of perfectionism, but I think it's
Yeah.
really cool how like you're separating it out into like four different EPs. So
Hmm.
is it like one EP per month until December, the full launch?
So I have the one today, and then I have one that's actually on my birthday, September 26th, and then
Okay.
November 17th, and then I think December 2nd. So the last one, there's a little bit of a longer period of time.
Hmm.
And then it's like body, heart, mind, and soul. And I kind of wrote that whole album the same way. Like I didn't call them that at first. I was like, one category was like bangers with a Z.
Bangers.
Yeah, bangers. And um then I had like melodic and emotional tracks, and then I had like experimental and like psychedelic, and then like down tempo and experimental or whatever. And I did write them for those categories, but I renamed them and made it like really cohesive that way.
Yeah, I was listening to the Body EP the other day, like from start to finish. I just really
Yeah.
like, I think it's a literal body of art, like literally.
Go-
Like it's just from beginning to end, it sounded really cool how it was like very melodic. And I actually felt like I was going into space, like my background. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first track, or like that introduction. I just thought it was really well done. So congrats on that.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, the feedback on it has been pretty incredible from what I've been seeing on social media.
Yeah, and that's like a really good feeling because I mean, obviously, like I've been teasing it for so long and talking about it and hyping it up. And I don't think talk it up if I didn't feel really good about it. But
Yeah.
I have like showed it to so many friends and like people by now that like they gave me the confidence to like really push it. So like I've
Hmm.
been confidently like telling people like it's going to be good. And then to see people have the same reaction is really nice. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, Body's interesting because they're the most like in your face tracks from the whole album, like the bangers.
Hmm.
But I think it's like the part of the album that's the shortest. Like it's 5 tracks, but it's only like 16 minutes long. Where there's 3 more parts, and those make up an hour worth of music. So there's like some really long tracks that are on the way after this too. So it's cool to like get the first part out, and people are already like, give me more.
Yeah. And being able to work with Wakan to roll this out too, like
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible as well.
Yeah, and I've been working with them for the past like 2 years now. They've been nothing but like super supportive, like my manager, Loper and Sam, and then also like Martin, Liquid Stranger. I,
Hmm.
I didn't used to release on labels. I just like self-released everything.
Yeah.
But they've given me like a really big platform, and they have a really good community that's like loving, and they're also like open to hearing all sorts of different stuff, and that to me is really important.
Hmm.
And they don't tell me what to do. It's not like they're like, we need an album and we need this type of stuff. They were like, do you want to
Yeah.
release this? Sure, yeah, like we'll give you the big push that you need. Like, do you need any help? Do you need resources? I was the one that came to them with the like 4 parts idea, and they were like, yeah, we love it, like we'll help you make that happen. So I have nothing but good things to say about them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a basically like a waterfall release,
Mhm.
and it's a good
Yeah,
way to help keep promoting all the tracks and like the album as a whole. So that way, when it drops December 2nd, then you can promote the entire album as a
yeah,
whole,
exactly.
in
And
separate
I
pieces.
I think that like especially in this day and age of like TikTok attention spans,
Yeah. Oh my
people,
God.
if I
That's
drop an
such a struggle, man.
yeah, I know if I drop an 18 track album all at once, people are gonna maybe listen to 5 of them, you
Maybe
know,
even.
maybe. Like even dropping 5 tracks on the first part today, people probably skipped the intro. They're like, okay, I get it, it's the intro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like I just knew that I wanted to release all these songs, and they're all meaningful and they all tell a story. But the best way to do that was to like slowly feed it to people. And you're right, like it does help promote the whole thing the whole time, because instead of having like one big release day, I have
Mhm.
4.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, I feel you on that when it comes to TikTok and social media, because like there's some artists that I manage, and I'm always like, do not make your videos more than like 30 seconds. 30 seconds is even
yeah,
like a lot. Like, even like if you look on the DUBSTEP FBI page, like it's kind of turned into a meme page, but not really, because it's also
yeah,
like a good way to help promote up and coming artists and just help shed light on underrepresented artists and just people that we
yeah,
think deserve more attention in general. And so, like, even when they come up to us and like, hey, I have this release and here's this, you know, graphic, or here's like
yeah, yeah,
this sort of animation, even then it's like sometimes Instagram, I'm sure you see it on your page too, it'll suppress, like the algorithm will suppress the views because they see that it's
yeah.
like some animation, it has text over it. So like you'll just see that on our page. It's just like those videos are usually just show videos or like memes.
Yeah, no, you're right. The algorithm kind of makes stuff like that eat shit, which sucks
Hmm.
because like you could put a lot of money into stuff like that, and then if you make like a funny meme or just like you almost talking sometimes, it does recognize faces. So like
Yeah.
it'll push that a lot more. And
Yeah,
that's kind
literally.
of like, it's crazy. I actually like I'm trying to learn TikTok. I don't feel like I'm that old. I'm 29.
Yeah,
But I
no,
was
you're
like,
not at all. I'm 27.
yeah, I was like kind of late on the TikTok train. So like I was looking up the other day how to like add a different sound to the video, and I was watching a YouTube like video tutorial.
Yeah.
It was from this page called Tech Boomers, and I
Tech
was like, oh my
boomers.
God, like I am not watching how to talk for boomers video, but I'm trying, like, I don't know. It's hard.
I'm the same way. Like there's this app called CapCut. Have you heard of
Okay.
it?
Yeah, I
So
just downloaded that the other day.
yeah, same here. I just downloaded it like a month ago and I was like, how the hell do you use this shit? And then like Instagram, when I use a horizontal
Yeah.
videos do not do well on our page. So I try making it a vertical, like expand it into a reel.
Huh?
Even then, Instagram doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't give you that option to expand it. So
Oh
then they
yeah, you
were
have to like redo it in like online or something.
yeah, like on Adobe Premiere Pro or something, or like a video editor. But I asked some friends, like, is there an app where I can just do this instead of having to pull out my laptop and do this? And they're like, oh, just do it in CapCut. And they tried sending me like a video, they tried sending me a tutorial, and I was like, I do not have the patience for this.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be watching these tutorials on how to like just make a damn vertical video. Like
Yeah, literally. It's like I feel like I'm my dad, like Googling how to convert PDF.
how to suppress PDF.
Yeah.
I actually Googled how to do that the other day. I was like, this PDF is really big. How do I suppress this? Yeah, gotta love it.
We're
But when
doing
it
our best though.
yeah, we're trying. So just gotta keep up with the times, man.
Definitely.
But I'm actually curious to hear more about like if there's any tracks in particular when it comes to body that hold more like special significance to you. Like for me,
Sure.
I don't know. I heard when I was hearing the album or the EP, Go stood out to me
Yeah,
a lot with like
definitely.
the hip hop elements. Like I'm curious to hear more about that actually.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one that we've been leading with. All of them have their like own place. So like Boundary, the intro, um, that was actually it used to be the outro of a song that I was gonna put on the album, but it didn't make the cut. So I like
Ah,
cut the outro off of it, turned it into an intro and like put a bunch of effects on it. And then I used those same sounds in like 5 or 6 different other songs on the album. So that kind
very
of sets the tone. Like you hear all these sounds, but you're gonna hear them later and maybe not even remember where you heard them, but they'll feel familiar.
cool. Hmm.
Um, and then we have Breathe with Sika, and he's a really, really talented producer. I think he only has like 1 track or 0 tracks he's ever released.
Oh wow.
This is like his first track he's ever released. And it's on my album, which is really cool. Um, and that one came together. Like I love the like breathe in, and then like the huge bass line comes in. And then Go, that one is with Al Capone and Killa P, and I'm a really big fan of both of them.
Yeah.
Uh, Killa P's done a bunch of work with like 140 acts. He's from the UK. He's normally found on something like Attorney and Sound or like Distinct Motive track. So I
Hmm.
was really excited to get him on something that's like higher energy and like kind of in a different sound than what he might normally be on. Um, and then I also have Al Capone, who is like a Memphis like OG. Like he's been in the rap game for a long time and he's been
Yeah.
branching in EDM more. Um, so to have the like down south like rap vibe and then also like, a UK feel to it and then have the track be so energetic is really, really cool to me. I also wrote it as an instrumental first with like no vocals at all, which was a challenge for me.
Were
Like
you
lead,
planning on that?
yeah, I was. So I like wanted it to have vocals the whole time. So I wrote it that way. So there's like little pauses and breaks and bits of silence and stuff um in the instrumental. And like to me that was challenging because I was just trying to imagine where the like vocals would be without having any placeholders.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously, like they did an amazing job, so it came together perfectly.
Yeah, that one, like, it actually just makes me want to go. Like, let's get the day
Yeah,
going,
the energy
like,
on
let's
that one
like,
is
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I really love that one and like the hip hop elements, like I said earlier, and just like
Yeah,
the EDM elements. And I think it's really cool that Al Capone, especially since I've heard of him before many a times, like, I just think it's cool that he's branching out more into EDM and a lot of vocalists in general. I feel like that you would have
yeah,
never expected are getting more into the EDM side of things.
yeah. I think as the genre continues to be so popular, like more and more people are going to want to try and branch out and do different things. On the next part of my album, Heart, there's a vocalist. She actually didn't even want to be credited because normally she does like pop stuff. Um,
Ah,
and I was like, I would love to like have you credited on the track. And she was like, no, it's fine. I just like doing this for fun. So it's cool, like even if people aren't trying to like break into doing it all the time, they're still like dipping their toes in. And
mm-hmm.
I'm sure, if that song does really well, maybe she might feel like doing EDM more often.
I
Um,
wonder who it is. We're gonna have
yeah,
to put on my FBI hat, run an
yeah,
investigation.
exactly. And figure it out for sure. But yeah, I definitely think like more and more people from like the vocal and the hip hop and rap communities are getting interested in it. I mean, if you look at festivals, like, I mean, you have Shaquille O'Neal who's been crushing,
Yeah.
and he's like an A-list basketball celebrity.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's
so
amazing. Oh my
yeah,
God.
he's a
I
huge inspiration.
I was about to ask you, have you seen him in person? Like, my
Yeah,
God,
I
that
played a
guy
show
is.
with him.
Oh, you
I played
did.
like a Home Wonderland show with him, which to me, I just felt like the simulation was broken because I'm like, okay, I'm at a dubstep show where they're spraying foam cannons at kids, and Shaquille O'Neal's like chopping rhythm, and I was like, the weird fever dream. But it was really cool. He's an amazing guy. He's super friendly. He like stopped and shook everybody's hand and took a picture with anybody that asked him, and like his set was really cool. So I love seeing people from the outside that like are really embracing the community, and they get embraced back, which I think is, you know
Yeah.
if people were more like gatekeepy, I think that it wouldn't go over as well. But people are like, yeah, of course, like we welcome you.
Yeah. No, that's like what we strive to be here at like DUBSTEP FBI. We don't like to gatekeep. We just want to help lift each other up, basically. Like the
Yeah,
saying goes, like the rising tide lifts all boats. So as
it's
long as you
very
have
true.
good intentions and help other out and not like, make it like there's a lot of politics in the EDM scene, I feel like, especially in dubstep.
Yeah.
So it's just, we're over here like we're all working towards the same goal. Why don't we just work together and help each other out? Like, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And there is a bunch of like weird politics. I think what's important is like there's people like other artists that sometimes have like a scarcity mindset where they're like there's only so many fans, so I want to have all of them, and anybody else that tries to get them is like stealing from me. And that's like
Right?
the thing, people there's people in general in life that have that scarcity mindset, but like, and I think that's a uniquely American thing because we're so individualistic. That's kind of how our society is. But like
Hmm.
in reality, there's enough to go around for everybody. And like, you win by lifting other people up and sharing, and like, putting on your friends and putting on other people and sharing other people's stuff. And I know you guys like have that as like your mantra pretty much. Um,
Yeah.
it obviously like is true, like you, and it's a good way to approach life. So
Yeah, there's this book that I read a while ago. It's called The Go-Giver. I don't know if you've heard of it.
uh-uh.
But it has like these sort of 5 laws of success. And
Okay.
one of them, ever since I read it, has like stood out to me. And it was basically before we started DUBSTEP FBI. It basically says your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And that's like what we strive to do is like, it's not a give and take here. Like we will take the time out of our day, especially since we have day jobs. Like we'll make these playlists on Spotify. We'll add your track to the top. Maybe it'll get you a few streams, maybe not a lot, but it'll get you something. We'll
Yeah.
post you on our story. We'll post your show. Like we'll just like we basically sacrifice a lot of money and our time to
Yeah.
make this platform run. And it's just crazy to see how like we went into this without any sort of money expectations or like without the expectation of getting any money. And now
Sure.
it's like the money is like starting to roll through and like people are wanting to like they're begging to pay us. Like, please, I will pay you to write this article. Like,
Yeah.
I will pay you to do this. Like, please come to our show. I will pay for your flights for the FBI to do an appearance at our show. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's crazy like what can happen when you change that sort of mindset of like not having that sort of expectation, you know, of like a give and take type of thing. And I'm
Yeah, a
sure like
hundred
that's happened
percent.
to you as well.
Yeah, and it's really been great seeing you guys like grow so organically too.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
like you're right. Like if you put out that energy, like maybe you don't get it back like immediately, but it will come back to you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for this album earlier this week, I made like an Instagram post where I had all of the different vocalists and collaborators, and then my audio engineer Seth Drake, um, like in the slideshow, and I like said what each person contributed to this part of the album and like highlighted them. And I'm trying to do that because like there's just this like unspoken thing in the scene where people feel like they have to like put other people beneath them or like seem like they're the only person that's like doing this project. Like people act
Yeah.
like it's just a one person thing.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to do my best to change that. And I think that your guys' approach to just like leading with open arms is it changes things, you know, and like you're right. People benefit by lifting each other up. So
Yeah.
it's really sometimes it might take a little bit of extra effort, but it does come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that puts me to like my next question about your tour coming up because you're
Yes.
hitting like over 30 cities. I don't know how many, but I remember seeing that graphic and I was like, my God, like that is insane.
You're
So
like,
like
I'm tired just looking at that.
oh my God. I just got back from Base Canyon. I felt like I was a touring artist that weekend, even though it was just Base Canyon for a weekend. I'm just like, I don't know how
Yeah.
these artists do it. I remember seeing that and I'm like, wow. I don't know if he's gonna get any sleep, but that is so cool that you're
Yeah.
doing that. So I'm excited for you. But like, how many cities in total are you hitting
I
as of
think
now?
it's 35 to 37.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's like every weekend, I think, for 15 weeks. And I'm mostly doing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but some of the weeks I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Um,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
so at least I'll be like home during the week. So like I live with my fiance and my dog and cat, so like I will get like personal time. Like I'll get to come home, sleep in my own bed, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like see my dog. I'll probably hibernate most of the time, to be honest, in between shows. Actually,
Yep.
knowing me, I'll be like in my studio, like working and being like, I need to change this.
Yeah.
But
And I feel, yeah. I was gonna say, like,
yeah,
I feel like when you're on tour as well, like you'll probably come home like super motivated and excited about like what just happened, and like you'll just want to keep like making more music. Cause like that's what
yeah,
happened to me after Base Canyon. Like I was so exhausted, like I felt like a zombie, but literally as soon as I got home, like 2 a.m. Sunday night, I was just like, all right, we're gonna make all this content, we're gonna do this and that for the page, we're gonna edit this on the website. Like I just got home like super motivated to like continue building this sort of like FBI lab that we're doing.
yeah. It's like an infectious energy. And that's normally the case for me too. Like when I play shows, I normally come off of them feeling super inspired or like, the energy from the crowd too it's like something that you can't really put into words, but you can feel it. And obviously, like you feel the same thing. It's that like
Hmm.
sense of community and togetherness. And like when everybody's just like moving to the same thing, like there's no worries about, what their politics are or like, if you have something bad that's been happening in your life or at home, like all of that kind of goes away. And you just like are there with people and like the bullshit like
Yeah.
fades and you
Hmm.
have that beautiful energy. And normally like, yeah, if the crowd's into it, which hopefully they are, it's my tour.
Yeah.
uh I'll
I would
come
hope
home
so
and
too.
I'll definitely feel energized to write some more music.
Yeah. And I was looking at the lineup too of like some of the artists you're putting on. Like I see Green Matter. She's out here in Denver. She's one of my good
Yeah.
friends. Slaying Dogs, Remnant. Like, how did you like hand select these artists? Even Charlotte's Web. I love Charlotte's Web. Like she is also out here in Denver.
Yeah, she is. I put a lot of like time and care into picking all the support acts. I think my managers like kind of hated me for a minute because it's like I went city by city. Like it's not like I was like, oh, these are the people that I want. You guys try to figure it out. I was like, no, for this city, I want these 4 people. And if like one of those people couldn't make it, I'd be like, okay, these are my other 2 options to replace that role. Like that's how intricate I was. I've been like going to electronic shows since like 2009. I think I saw like Pretty Lights was one of my first ones. My first show was actually Infected Mushroom in 2009.
No
Um,
way.
Crazy to start
Damn.
with Psytrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like
Love that.
half-assing. It wasn't like, Tiesto or something. It was like, it was Infected Mushroom. I've always been weird.
I
Um,
love that. Infected mushroom is sick live.
yeah, they are. They're so great. But
Hmm.
basically, like, I've just been like in the scene for a long time. I'm a big fan of other artists. Like, I'm always listening to other people's stuff. So I feel like I have a good finger on the pulse of like the underground because that's like kind of still how that's like how I view myself still. And I've been a fan of pretty much every single person on the lineup. And I've either collaborated with them, played their music, or had them on my radio show or multiples of those. Um, I think almost everybody has had a radio show episode. And if not, like they fall in those other 2 categories. But yeah, it's just like I tried to pick people that I really liked, and then I tried to put them in markets also that wouldn't break the bank for everybody because there is like 20
Right.
acts on it. People were like, somebody tweeted like, oh, there's like so many people on these tours these days. And I was like, well, there's intention behind that. Like, one, I want to bring up like all of my homies,
Yeah.
but two, like, I'm not gonna like pick 3 friends and make them fly around the country when I don't have a huge budget and they don't have a huge budget. So I'm like, okay, this person lives, in Florida. I'm gonna give you all 5 Florida stops and 1 stop in Atlanta. That's doable.
That's
And
really
it's like
cool. Yeah.
kind of their home market too. So they have friends there that'll come out to the shows. Like, and it promotes them in their state and might get them a couple out of state plays, especially for like the local or regional people. The only people that, might be playing a bunch of stops are people that are like more national acts. Um,
Hmm.
and like a super future, I have him on a bunch of different dates. Drink Your Water. But like Green Matter, I had her on the like Fort Collins and Boulder show. I have her, I think, in Portland as well, because that's actually like not too bad of a flight.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
it's
did
pretty easy.
include her on Webster Hall. And that's an awesome show, like to
Hmm.
have anybody on. But yeah, there's a lot of thought put into it. I'm
Yeah.
crazy when it comes to stuff.
I'm sure people will really appreciate that too, especially like the locals in each region. Like,
Mhm.
for example, like Drinker Water. I love him, and I'm sure people like around that region will really appreciate that they get to see him in maybe their
Yeah,
region or wherever he's playing. And
definitely.
yeah, no, I will say though, just because I am in FBI mode here, I don't see Denver on this poster, so maybe there's something unannounced, or maybe you just
Yeah.
played here that I don't know of.
Yeah, so I have the Boulder and Fort Collins shows, which are coming up super soon. I think that's like the second weekend of tour. So all my
Yeah.
focus is on those right now. And then I have Red Rock's appearance with Liquid Stranger in October for Wakan Rocks.
Oh,
So
that's
on that
right.
one. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that after that show's done that I don't have something cooking up for
Hmm.
Denver.
Stay
But
tuned.
if people are going to the Red Rock show, I might be announcing something
Okay.
that night.
So, Denver peeps, if you're listening, stay
Yes.
locked. Yeah, I'll have to
But
make it
also
out to
come to
that.
the Boulder and Fort Collins shows. I'm actually bringing in like extra sound. Like I'm working with Hennessy to bring in a bunch of subs, and I'm good friends with Laser Monkey. So we have like a bunch of extra production for those tracks or shows. Cause I always like to do it like all the way up for Colorado because I know
Hmm.
everybody out there goes super hard.
Base capital, baby.
So
Yeah. Um, I would I mean, if we were in the country, we would have gone to your, oh wait, actually we will be. We'll be just back in time, but we're actually going to Colombia and Curacao for our best friend's
Nice.
wedding.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah, so we'll probably be recovering by then. I think we get back like the 10th or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see here. See, I have to use glasses to look at this poster.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on there. Actually, I've always wanted to go to Colombia, so that sounds really fun. I lived in Viña del Mar in Chile for like 8 months and studied Spanish and did like traveling throughout South America. I didn't make it to Chile, but I went to Argentina and then I hiked Patagonia and then Bolivia, Chile, Peru.
Oh, I've been
I
dying to
really, I
hike
want to go back.
Patagonia.
It
Yeah.
was hard. It was super hard.
Yeah. What's the elevation over there? Do you know?
Um, I'm not sure. I did like this one hike. It's called the W. So it's like the elevation change is really, really steep, and then you like come out of the valley. Um,
Hmm.
but it's just so far down there. It's hard to get to.
Yeah. It's pretty expensive to fly down there for sure.
I'm sure. This
Yeah.
was like 10 years ago. But yeah,
Oh, how the times
I
have
have
changed.
ADD. I was like, oh, Colombia, I want to go there.
Hmm. Yeah, no, thankfully it wasn't too bad to fly out there, but it's crazy because so the wedding is in Medellin.
Mhm.
So the flights from Denver to Bogota were like basically $400 round trip, whereas which is really cheap.
Yeah.
Whereas to Medellin, it was like $1,100
Oh,
round trip.
wow.
I was like, the hell? So yeah, we're basically gonna fly. We decided to fly into Miami, and then there's a flight from Miami to Medellin. So
Okay.
figured that it would just be easier to do that.
Yeah. That sounds great. I don't
But
blame you if you don't make the show. That's a lot of travel.
yeah, I'm gonna need to recover
Yeah.
from now until we go. I'm still gonna have to recover from Base Canyon. So, and you know how that
Yeah.
drive is
Hey,
because
you're
you
holding it up like really well. So
thank
I'm
you. I
impressed.
appreciate it. My God.
Yeah.
Thankfully I skipped day 3.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of fires out there. I don't know if you've seen the news, but there's been
Yeah.
really terrible fires. I don't know if you saw like some videos as well, how hazy it was. And
Yeah. It looks bad.
yeah, so everyone's like lungs and throats and noses are all fucked up from that too. So
Yeah.
it's no fun.
Like what plus like
Yeah,
I think is it the Canadian fires that are burning?
I heard there
Probably.
was I heard there was fires in Spokane actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
The whole
so it
world.
was pretty bad. I think they must have started Friday night because Friday it was
Yeah.
clear as day. Like the sunset looked incredible, and that would have been the day to take pictures. And I made the mistake of not taking pictures that day because I was just like,
Oh,
oh, I'll do it tomorrow, like I'll dress in my cute outfit tomorrow. And of course, we wake up and it's like super hazy.
you'll just have to go back, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just have to go back. So that's my excuse.
You have a good time.
It was
It looked awesome.
it was incredible. Oh my God. The pre-party was a lot of fun. I just love how Excision is also constantly putting up these up and coming artists. Like we showed up to the pre-party and they had like all this alcohol for all the artists and all their guests. And they were, the artists in hospitality, like they were just like, oh, do you want a drink? Oh, do you need any food? Are you good? Do you need water? Like they were constantly asking the guests and the artists. And then the artists were just taking turns on the decks, just like to plug in, play a song. And there was just like thousands of people in the crowd. And there was pyro and a bunch of CO2 and all that. So
Yeah, that's
it was pretty
awesome.
cool. But actually, I want to get into some of these submitted questions that we got on Instagram.
Yes, let's do it.
So let's see. It's Caro. She asked, how do you keep your hair so nice?
Um, well, right now it's in a braid, and that's actually one of the secrets. I braid it a lot, so like at night, Taylor, my fiance, will braid it for me because I'm lazy, and that keeps it from like getting really like tangled and crinkled at night. I
Mhm.
have like super not curly, but almost curly, but very wavy hair. So if I don't do that, like I wake up and it's like all tangled and crazy. Um,
Like a
what
lion.
else? Yes, I look crazy, crazy, especially in Atlanta. It's so humid here. It'll be like
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, it's so humid there.
it is. I use like shampoo and conditioner. And then I have like a conditioner that you use like a leave-in one after the shower.
Oh yeah.
And then I take hair supplements. It's a lot of work. I didn't realize. I've been growing my
Yeah.
hair for a long time. I've kind of kept it like at half of my chest length for a while
hmm
now. Um, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
How long have you been growing it out for?
It was like yay high in like 2015.
Oh
So
wow. It's been a
I
minute.
yeah, I haven't had it much shorter than then. I used to grow it out like to that length a lot, like at my neck. And then my mom would like make me cut my hair a lot as a kid for some reason. Like
hmm
I hated it. I would throw a temper tantrum. So she would like surprise me at the bus stop, like waiting in her car and be like, "Oh, we're like going to the store," and then like take me to the hair salon. So I have like I think hair trauma.
Wow.
She's great besides that. Like I love my mom. But I do not want to cut it anymore. So I actually, maintenance wise, I do get it cut every like 4 months to take off like an inch or two and
I was
like
about to ask, like, wait, so you're
thin
not
and
cutting
out.
anymore?
No, I get it like cleaned up every
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 times a year.
Do you ever like straighten your hair?
I had an emo phase in high school and middle school, and I did use my sister's straightener to straighten my hair one time, and it looked insane. It's like the like swoop across my eye, and I was like taking pictures on the counter wearing my sister's skinny
Oh no.
jeans. Didn't make skinny jeans back
Oh
then for
boy.
guys just yet.
Like the
Um,
MySpace days where you just have
yeah,
like that one
the
selfie. It's like,
MySpace. I was like big on Tumblr for a while.
oh my God,
Uh,
Tumblr. What a time.
I don't think I would do. Actually, funny enough, talking about hair salons, I think it was a year or two ago. I went to this new salon and I didn't know what a blowout was. And like they're like, do you
No.
want like they cut my hair and everything. They're like, do you want a blowout? And I was like, sure. And then
Oh my
like,
God, I can't even imagine.
oh my God, afterwards my hair was like so long and luscious and like straight and like I looked like Fabio. It
Do you have any pictures of
like
that?
I do, I'll try to find one and send it to. And then like I got home and my fiance was like, "What the fuck? Like, what did they do to your? Did they straighten your hair?" And I was like, "I don't know. They like blow dry it for like 30 minutes." And she was like, "Did you get a blowout?"
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
You're
So
like,
now
yeah,
I
sure.
learned it
And
was great. Honestly, it was like the best blow dry I've ever had.
hmm Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that reminds me, I need to get that, but it's so expensive out here in Denver. My God.
Yeah. This was in Berkeley, so I was like a $200 haircut. Like it was.
Yeah.
I'd never make the mistake again.
Yeah. Don't want to do that.
But worth it for that one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, worth it. All right, next one here. I think it's Bizarrus.
Okay.
Wants to know what type of programs do you use for bass design and what is your DAW?
Yeah, so I work in Ableton. I'm in 11.3, I believe. I think I need to update to 3.2, 11.3.2. And then honestly, most of my sound design is in Serum. That's just like my go-to. Sometimes I do stuff in Massive or Massive X. I use a little bit of Vital, but most of it is in Serum. And then just like a lot of stock like Ableton um, stuff,
Mm,
like the plugins.
No Fruity Loops.
No, actually, so in high school, I took like they didn't know where to place me for some of my classes. So they let me take this thing called like a directed study, like me and like five other kids. And we all were like weird, nerdy kids that they were like, just do whatever. Um, so most of us chose, yeah, they didn't know what to do with us. I was like, I can't take this
Just do
class.
whatever.
Yeah, they're like, put them
They're
in the
like just
computer lab. We don't know what to do
yeah.
with them.
Yeah, like these
So
kids are just yeah.
yeah. So we had like a directed study. We got to choose what we wanted to do, and I did music production. Um, and I did it on Fruity Loops, but I ended up like not really doing very much. And I mostly watched like tutorials, but I never like really made anything. But funny enough, one of my friends from that class ended up becoming a hip hop producer. And he like made a couple of like Migos and Gucci Mane's hits and Drake
No
that are like
way.
hits, and he like lives in LA now.
Wait, so
So
do you keep in
crazy.
touch with him at all?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he even does hip hop anymore. He does like hyper pop. Um he had like one of his tracks go super viral on TikTok. So I don't know, weird that we both came from that little incubator.
Yeah,
I
that's
think he
pretty
might
cool.
still be in Fruity Loops.
Checks out.
Yeah.
All right, next one here. We got a couple more. We got quite a few questions. So I don't know how to even say this, so I'll just spell it out. It's like ICOAPR.
Okay.
And this is actually a good question. What advice would you give a new DJ that you wish someone would have given you?
Yeah, I think to just like stay focused on yourself and not compare yourself to other people, and do it because you love it. Um, and then everything else will come, because it's really easy. And I used to struggle a lot where when I first started trying to play shows, and like I was like, I feel like I'm good, but like people aren't noticing me. Why are they noticing other people? It's because I suck. Like if you try to just tune that like self-doubt out and just have fun, it's gonna make things a lot better. Because there's no like, even if you're not getting paid a bunch of money and playing huge stages or whatever, like that doesn't take away from your skill. Like you're still like, it doesn't determine like how good you are, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, I agree completely. And it goes back to like what we were talking about earlier, where if you go into this because you're passionate about it and not with the intention of making money, playing these festivals right away, like it's most successful people that I look up to at least, and that I'm sure you look up to, are a 10-year overnight success, as they say.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
no one sees what it took to get there. Like people might see DUBSTEP FBI and they'll be like, oh, like you got this many followers or you got this traction so quickly because you're girls. And it's like, well, you guys don't see that. We're working full-time jobs. We're working late into the evenings, making these articles, curating content. We're working on the weekends. We're taking away time from our friends and family just to keep this going. So people will only see the success and not what it took to get there.
100%. And I think that that's like right on the money. Yeah, like we're like, oh, like he blew up out of nowhere. And like, yeah, you're only knowing them because they're blowing up, but like unless they're like an industry plant, which like they exist, but like, people love to talk about that. But most people have put in the work. Like, and you're right, it's either a 5 or 10 year overnight sensation. Like they're not seeing the sleepless nights, or like I have videos of me playing to like 5 people in the woods, like
Yeah.
on some like generator, like they don't see that. They
Hmm.
just see the success. You're right. And people
Oh
will
yeah.
try to discount you. So don't listen to that either. Don't let them be like, oh, it's because you're a woman, or it's because this or because that. Like people are always going to find reasons why you're successful and they're not. And
Exactly.
those people are just people you shouldn't even give the time of day to.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed is that usually the people who are talking bad about you like that are usually the ones who are obviously not happy with where they're at in life and they need to take it out on someone else because they're
100%.
not where they want to be. So, yeah,
That's a known problem.
haters make us famous, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do have a lightning round here. I don't know if you've seen our interviews or have heard of our lightning round. Have you?
Educate me.
So it's just a few questions, pretty quick answers. They're pretty easy, kind of to put you on the spot, but not really. Like
Okay.
no pressure, but should be fun.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
yeah, I prepared some here for you. This first question here is, what's the strangest venue you've ever performed at?
Um, I played in this like semi-abandoned warehouse in Philadelphia to like 5 people, and there was like 3 tanks of nitrous and like people that had ordered pizza, and it was like all painted completely black, and there was like one person live painting. There was no tickets to it. I think maybe there was 10 people there. So that was probably the weirdest.
Was
And I
this
had a
like
friend.
an
This
was
was
this
a long time ago, and I had a friend, like, I was like, dude, I'm playing in Philly. It's gonna be sick. He took a train all the way from New York City. And then it was just me and like 5 wooks in a warehouse.
was this like an after party or like
Oh, it was supposed, I don't know. It was a weird day. It was supposed to be somewhere else, and then they like couldn't make that happen. It was just, in the Wook days for sure. I also played, as I was saying, like in Golden Gate Park, like in the middle of the trees, for a Renegade. And then we also used to throw like Renegades, me and my friends, in like the national park right by the Golden Gate Bridge. You had to like hike down this super steep like long path all the way to this like rocky pebble beach, and we would just like physically carry all of the sound equipment down there and throw Renegades until the like rangers would come at 4 in the morning and kick everybody out.
that actually sounds pretty fun though. I mean,
Sick.
not carrying all the equipment, but like
Yeah,
throwing
carrying
down
back
there.
up was miserable.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, it
bet.
was it was actually a really cool time. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll like replicate that sometime.
that would be cool. Hell yeah. Next one. How many IDs are you sitting on?
Not counting the album, probably like 15, 20. But I'm
Cool.
always like, those are things that are playable. There's like stuff that I fuck around with like all the time, but I wouldn't count them as songs.
Yeah, you wouldn't count them as IDs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you have a go-to track for getting pumped up? And which one is it?
Yeah, right now either Go or Wild are like my big ones. I've been listening to Body just to like make sure it still sounds good before it comes up. If not, um, I'm really into like screamo metal music. Anything like Slipknot would be really like a gym thing to listen to. Or 80s. Honestly, I can get pumped up off of anything. Like I could slap on like Requiem by Mozart and be ready to rock.
Love it. Just play that at one of your sets and just watch everyone's reactions.
Yeah, honestly, so I've been like going through and selecting like preset music. So if there's like a 15-minute changeover from the last person before I come on, and I like
Ah,
sending it to all the venues, and ones sometimes it'll be like Soundtrack to My Life by Kid Cudi, and then other times it'll be like a 7-minute long ambient song by Massive Attack. So
nice. So you do really curate like everything from start
yeah,
to finish. I
definitely.
love it. Hell yeah. What is your, or do you have a dream label? And which one is it?
It would be my own, and I'm working on it.
Ooh, you're working on your own label.
Maybe.
Maybe. You heard it here first, fam. Who are your EDM best friends?
Honestly, I have too many to name, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But most of the people on my tour, I'm really, really great friends with. So go check out all their music. A lot of the people in the Wave community too, make
Yes.
cool music, and I'm like so lucky to have become close friends with all of them. So I have nothing but good things to say about them. They're like the least gatekeepy community too. They're like, sometimes people are like, oh, like, no, this is our genre. They're like, no, come on in. Like,
Yeah.
do our
No,
music. It's cool.
I recently really started getting into wave music actually, like in the
Yeah.
last year. So Remnant is also obviously one of them. Bavin out here in Denver.
Uh-huh.
Love that
Yeah.
guy. Obviously Barnacle Boys, Skeller, but there's a lot of great musicians in the
Yeah,
wave
for sure.
community. And they're all super nice people. Yeah, like you said, they're very
Are they're
welcoming.
they're super nice.
Yeah, shout out to them. If you could go back to back with any artist, which one would it be with?
Um, so like my all-time goal was Skeller, But I did that this year at Soulfest, which was amazing.
Wow.
I think besides that, maybe like Nero would be really, really cool. I don't think they do like a lot of back-to-backs, but I'd like to try to make it work.
Nero would be sick. That's a good goal right there. It's doable.
Yeah, I think I could make it happen.
Yeah. All right, couple more. So I'm actually curious about this. What is one country you want to play in?
I would love to play in Japan. I love Japanese culture, and I actually had a uh whole trip with my fiance planned for like the cherry blossom season in Tokyo and Kyoto, and the like day we were supposed to leave, or like a few days before we were supposed to leave, was when they like closed the borders because of COVID. So we canceled our flights and our Airbnbs and everything, obviously. But just like I've seen people's shows there too. So like besides their beautiful country and culture and food and everything, like the crowds look awesome. Like it looks lit. So that's definitely like number one on my list.
Yeah, Japanese people go hard for sure.
Yeah, and they love
Yeah.
dubstep. So like,
They love everything. Even like so Chrissy and I we were working with well, we were basically managing Welcome Records for a while, and Ray was a really good friend of ours, and she was constantly playing shows out in Tahiti and Japan, and like she would send us videos like because she did a couple of releases with Welcome Records while we managed
yeah,
it. And so we constantly asked for like content, and like those videos from Japan just looked insane.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I want to do that.
yeah, I know that feeling though, because yeah, when COVID hit, I had a whole trip planned out to Turkey with my dad, because my dad and I have never done like a father and daughter international trip.
Mhm.
So like I really wanted to do something where it's just him and I, and we build our relationship and bond. So planned out everything for us. And then of course, COVID hit like 2 weeks before. So that
Were
was
you
a
able
huge bummer.
to go to Turkey yet?
No, we never rescheduled just because conflicts with
Yeah.
like a bunch of other trips I had planned. And then like we just never, we were just worried about having to like book it and then having to cancel it again, especially with the whole
Yeah.
pandemic thing. And then
Yeah.
just a bunch of things came up. But I think we're going to try again for next year. So
Awesome.
we'll see. We shall see. What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage?
Um, hmm. I like fumble my words on the mic, but I'm not really embarrassed by that. I just get so excited. I'm like, oh, and like can't talk. Uh,
Like, oops.
but I think this it might be TMI. I have IBS. Um,
Oh,
and
word.
yeah, yeah. And so like I ate like super spicy wings in Austin, Texas one time before a show.
Oh
And
no.
it like hit me like right as my set was ending. And I was like, have you seen Bridesmaids where they're like trying not to throw
Yes,
up?
that's
I was like
literally my favorite
sweating.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, like just holding it in. And I was like, oh my God, thank you guys so much. Bye. And like ran off stage. So
You
that
just like
was,
ran to the
I
bathroom.
like dipped. Like Ahu came on after me and like we hadn't met before. And we'd been like messaging back and forth and talking about working on music and everything. And like he, I switched sets with him because he had a delayed flight. So he was going to come on after me. And so he like really wanted to say hi, and I wanted to say hi to him too, but he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, bye, I gotta go. And then he messaged me, he's like, did I like do something? I was like, no, 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 I'm so sorry, like I was gonna shit my pants. So
Yeah, that part where she's like, "Yep, she's doing it. She's shitting on
yep,
the
yeah.
street."
Yeah, that was me.
Like, well, at least he didn't shit on the stage.
Oh no, that would be traumatizing. I would
That would-
simply pass away and have to get like medevaced out of there.
yeah, like, all right, no one talked to me ever again. That never happened.
I quit music.
Yeah, I quit. This is done. That wasn't that actually, you see that guy? Yeah, that wasn't me. That was just someone
That
else.
was a paid actor. It was a crisis actor.
Exactly. Oh man, I love that movie. That's like actually one of the movies that I can rewatch over and over again, and I'll never get tired of it.
It's so good and it aged really good. It's still really funny. That and Mean Girls are like both still really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah, that one. So yeah, those two, White Chicks and
White
Dumb and
Chicks is the
Dumber.
classic. Yes.
Yeah. White
There's
chicks like
also the shit scene when he's like, "Move, bitch!" Like
yeah.
that
Like
was
like wait, there's cheese in here as in dairy cheese. Just like the face.
yeah.
I can recite the whole movie,
I
literally.
love
I'm one of
that.
those girls like you don't want to watch that with me because I literally know all the lines.
Yeah, I love that though.
But it's so funny. Like I could still keep watching it over and over again.
Same. It's like a comfort movie.
Yeah. Okay, last question. So, what is your pre-show routine?
Um, Normally I take a nap, with like all of the blinds down and just like hibernate. And then I try to get something to eat like 6 hours beforehand. Um, because of what we just talked about. I don't
Not
like to
spicy
take
wings?
risks. Yeah, no spicy wings in about 6 hours before I play. Um, Normally I just like to kind of be like alone before I get to the venue, and I'll take like a really hot shower and just like sit on the ground in the shower and just like find my zen.
Hmm.
And then I have like 5 or 6 shirts that I wear every time I DJ. So I like try to pick a shirt that matches the vibe of the set that I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's like almost like my uniform.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, besides that, that's pretty much it. Normally, like right before I go on, I don't really like talking to people too much, which is hard because like everyone wants to talk like right before you play. But
Yeah,
I
especially like the
need my,
openers and everything.
yeah, but I need like my little quiet moment. Um, but yeah, and nothing too crazy. A hot shower, a good nap, a good meal. I try to see friends if it's like in a city where I know people. But other times I'm like, I'll hang out with you afterwards.
Yeah. You normally get to the venue like a little before your set, or you just like get there
Um,
early, hang out in your green room by yourself?
yeah, it really depends. I used to show up like super early and then I'm like sitting around for like 4 or 5 hours. Um, because like when I'm touring a lot, it's harder to do that every single day. Like it gets to be a lot and like your social battery gets drained from talking so much. But I at least try to watch most of the openers. I might miss the first one depending on like how I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling like kind of low, like I'll show up
Hmm.
closer to my set. But yeah, I try to make a point to at least watch all the openers, especially on my tour. I feel like
Yeah.
important for me to be there. Like they're on my tour, I
Yeah,
picked them.
exactly. No, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard some interesting like pre-show routines for some people, like where they'll do like push-ups or they're like, oh yeah, I need to take a pickle shot before I go on stage or something.
Yeah, no, I just want don't talk to me.
Yeah, simple enough. That would probably be me too. Or I would just be too anxious to talk to anyone or just like, yeah,
Yeah.
just
I
like
used to like
super, super nervous.
competitively swim back in the day. And so like same kind of thing. Like I don't know if you ever played any sports, but like right before like your really big game. I mean, this can apply to
Yeah.
anything, chess, any life event where there's a lot of pressure on you. You just get that like sorry, I was hiccuping. Like adrenaline rush where it's like the big game and you're the one that's expected to go perform. So yeah, I get kind of
Yeah.
quiet. It's not like like I don't get nervous. I actually used to be so nervous I would throw up before I would play. I don't tell people that because that's embarrassing. Uh or like have to go to the bathroom like 20 times or pee a bunch. I just get like really nervous. And that's mostly gone away. And now it's just kind of like getting in the zone where I'm like, I know I'm gonna do good and be excited.
Yeah.
Uh
But now that you've done it so many times, so yeah, now you're used to it.
yeah, definitely it's gotten better. Thank God.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Well, hey, that was the lightning round. It wasn't bad, right?
Woo, no, it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, we try to like use this time so that people can get to know you more as a person and understand that like you're human as well, and like
I mean, dude.
find some sort of inspiration and like, hey, you know what? Like if they can do it, I can do it too. So that's what we like to do about these podcasts is just like make it more personal and casual. And that way just people can get to know you more on your personal side.
Yeah, I love that. And I thank you for giving me the platform to do that and giving so many other people the platform to do that. I think it's
Yeah.
really, like, not only as the artist, but like I had talk with somebody else today, like what y'all are doing is just as important as the artist. Like it's like a whole like sphere of things. Like yes, the artists are making the art or whatever, but like there's an art to interviewing and to creating community and for like disseminating people's like attention and eyes, because not every artist can do that all the time, and not every person that quote deserves it has, you know, the ability to get a platform. So thank you
Yeah.
what you guys.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. No, thank
Yeah,
you
of
so
course.
much. Yeah, I know we went the full hour here, but overall, really great conversation and super
Yeah,
appreciate you for taking the time out of your day. I know it's 2 hours ahead from where we are. So really
yeah,
appreciate you
of
for taking the
course.
time out of your evening to chat and tell us more about like what can we expect from your album and just the story behind it and the tour. And yeah, hopefully I get to catch one of your shows. If I happen to be recovered from Columbia, we'll definitely stop by either Boulder or Fort Collins. So we shall see.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe travels as well. That's going to be a great time.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep everyone posted. We're gonna bring some rhythm and dubstep out to Columbia. We'll see everyone's reaction.
Sick.
No, I'm just kidding, but actually not really kidding. So
Yeah, like at the wedding reception, like doing the like tandem headbang.